I came up with the title of the session before I knew what it was. I just thought it was a funny idea, and then I decided now I need to find the panelists. So who did I find? We have Steve Schaffer. Steve is an internet strategy, product, and marketing professional with a more than 20-year record of growth, both startups and established internet and software companies. He's the founder and CEO of Offers.com, which is in Austin, Texas. I looked around and I can't find anything about Steve online prior to Offers.com and Vertiv. But a fun fact about Steve, he began his entrepreneurial pursuits at the age of 10 when he started a professional magic business as Hocus the Great. Heath Bradbury, actually I'm skipping over David, he wrote me late so I got to read that off my phone, is the eBusiness marketing manager at Advanced Auto Parts. He manages a variety of marketing programs including affiliate marketing, retargeting, and SEO, in addition to many of the business development initiatives in the social, local, mobile arena and omni-channel space, which bridges the gap between e-commerce and in-store retail. Prior to his 4 years at Advanced Auto, he was with CJ for 5 years. And contrary to popular belief, Heath is not short for Heathcliff or anything else. And I was impressed by this. He's named after Heath Barkley from the 60s TV show The Big Valley. He was played by Lee Majors. So have you found Ferry yet?
I have not. It's still out there.
Todd Crawford is the granddaddy of affiliate marketing. He's the co-founder of Impact Radius and vice president of strategic initiatives. Before that, he was vice president of business development at Digital River's affiliate network, One Network Direct. And in the late 1990s, Todd helped birth the modern affiliate marketing industry as co-founder and vice president of business development at Commission Junction. In 2007, Todd won the Wayne Porter Affiliate Marketing Legend Award. Todd is very fond of dangerous or expensive objects made of metal. And if you are friends with him on Facebook, you see many of these objects along with whatever meat he's cooking. I think he may have actually killed them with his bare hands and knives. If he weren't happily married, his Match.com profile would let the women of Santa Barbara know that he hates long walks on the beach. Then we have David Perez, whom I'm very happy to have on this to keep the other guys honest about coupon stuff. David's co-founder and chief marketing officer of Convertro, which is a multi-touch attribution software that provides advertisers with actionable spend recommendations that empower them to confidently reallocate marketing spend from unprofitable sources to more profitable ones. David also runs one of the largest affiliate publishers in the dating vertical, eDating for Free. Prior to these companies, he was senior director of online marketing for eHarmony. David is originally from Spain. English is his second language. He started drinking in bars when he could see over them. So if you need help getting around Vegas, you know who to talk to. All right. This is Cotter Cunningham. I actually asked Cotter to be on the panel. He was the first call I made. He's the CEO and founder of what's now RetailMeNot's. He turned me down, and I'm guessing if he were going to say yes, his investor relations department would have said no. I met Cotter when he was the chief operating officer of Bankrate. He left there and started Small Ponds. Small Ponds had Divorce 360, which Cotter openly and publicly admits was a complete and total failure. But Small Ponds became Whale Shark, and I put the definition of whale shark here because it's a slow-moving, filter-feeding shark and the largest known extant fish species. So if you know about RetailMeNot's, they definitely were filter-feeding. They moved a little slowly to start, and yeah, it's the largest known species of coupon sites. So first they bought a few coupon and deal sites. Coupon 7, which is gone. Cheap Stingy Bargains, which had been Cheap Stingy Bastard, and that's also gone. Deals to Buy, which is a deal site that's still around. And then they bought a domain, deals.com, that is a German coupon site. Then they bought the big one, RetailMeNot. It was, I think, about $137 million, give or take a few, and seemed kind of crazy at the time, given the risks. But obviously, I think they made it work. This was the day that the presentation was due. And you can see here, $1 2/3 billion. At the close on Friday, it was up to $32.75, and it's $1.92 billion for a coupon site. which I think might be more than every other coupon site combined. We'll ask these guys for their opinion. And the PE ratio is over 250, and here's just some other companies that you can get a comparison of. So my first question to the panel is, does that seem a little high? Wow, okay, on the phone, we talked. These guys wouldn't stop talking. So we might have to open it to questions soon. We'll see.
I think, say it's a market, right? It's a stock. So people value it at that, and that creates the valuation. So.
Okay. What do you think the risks are for RetailMeNot?
I think the only risk is that advertisers would want to stop working with them. I don't think there's really much risk of that happening.
Yeah. I'd say also, if you look at their organic search positions, they're pretty much 1 or 2 for almost every, coupon or promo code query. Now, granted, Google Ventures is one of their investors, so that probably helps protect them a little bit in their SERPs. But ultimately, if they got knocked down the SERPs, there's a ton of traffic on the tail for them that they're not going to capitalize on, and that'd be a huge risk on the revenue side for those guys.
Definitely agree with that one. I would see innovation on the affiliate side also potentially a risk. The move into some of the multi-channel offers, they're doing a great job at it now, but I think there's a lot of room for other affiliates to get in there and do something disruptive, or for example, someone like RevTrax getting in there and enabling a wider array of coupon and deal sites to get into that space and take some of that share.
Can you talk a little about what RevTrax does for the folks who don't know?
So RevTrax is really just, I think, a platform that helps distribute promo codes that can be redeemed in stores. So, for example, we have 4,000 physical locations. You go in with a barcode on your phone and scan it at point of sale, and they can track back to a particular affiliate site, a search placement, email, whatever. Really simplifies the distribution of those offers. So right now, going direct with a deal site is really the way that we had been working it, but leveraging something like RevTrax enables us to kind of go one-to-many instead of one-to-one. So potentially something that could shake up RetailMeNot's stranglehold on that space.
And I think the other thing to add is that the market is still very, very fragmented. So while there's a huge market, it's growing still at a rapid rate. It's very, very fragmented, and there's a chance that it could become more fragmented as other players get better and more sophisticated, and consumers continue to kind of seek out alternatives and continue to go to multiple sites before they buy something, as opposed to just one.
So what does the coupon space look like? How big is it as a share of affiliate marketing?
Well, you have to say it's only going to impact the retail spectrum, right? So, all the lead gen and financial stuff, they're not playing in that space. So I'd say in the retail space, they're probably 20, 25%. Maybe.
David, you have lots of data. What do you see?
Yeah. In terms of, if you're looking at a last click attribution basis, we see upwards of 30%. But if you look at it on a first click basis, you're going to see about 8% market share. So, coupon sites really benefit from being deep into the user path to conversion. We call the position in the funnel, cart path, or the person's already starting to enter their information. That's where we see the majority of coupon site visits happening. We see less top of funnel activity like introducer position for customers. So
So the difference between the first and last click, what's the look back window? Is it like ever the first? From time he's tracking it, or is it like in a 10-day window? Or?
Typically we'll utilize, when doing an analysis, we utilize an infinite cookie window to see, for the first conversion or repeat conversion where the touch point falls. And only 8.3% of the time do we see a coupon site being the very first touch point. They're showing up, they're in the cart flow, so essentially that's the majority of the spots within the conversion funnel that we're seeing the coupon affiliate. And, you know, from a modeling perspective, on a last click basis, you know, the majority of marketers out there are still using last click, and they're going to continue to use last click. And so, you know, it's a good position to be in if you're a coupon site, but longer term, we're seeing more marketers start to shift to algorithmic models away from the last click model, which favor, you know, rewarding the sources that have a greater influence on the conversion outcome. And when we look at coupon sites and we do event chaining where we determine, okay, you know, what marketing events, like a add to cart as an event or cart flow as an event, you know, which of these events have an influence on that ultimate purchase outcome, what we see is that the sources that are driving the add to cart have more of an influence on that conversion outcome than the sources that are showing up during the cart, you know, post cart flow initiation. So longer term, I think it's going to be, you know, how can coupon sites figure out how to get, you know, more top of funnel traffic to customers as opposed to, you know, relying on just showing up at the last second prior to the conversion. I think that, you know, their commissions will, you know, commission managers or affiliate managers are starting to cut the commissions on coupon sites as a result of that. And we're seeing a lot of clients where, you know, like JustFab, for instance, where they cut their coupon site affiliate, like Shop at Home, they cut their affiliate commission down, you know, to, I think it was like less than a quarter, and they still got 94% of the conversions anyway. So, you know, they didn't lose anything as a result of that.
I mean, one of the things I always wonder is, you know, when I talk to advertisers, and there seems to be like someone's trying to point the finger, you know, like I think it's the consumer's behavior, because I mean, if I'm in a shopping cart and an advertiser says, you know, you have two choices here before you buy, go and get a coupon and fill in this blank, or don't save any money and click submit. And that's why I think you see that behavior. Have you seen anything that has helped kind of shift that behavior and prevent that kind of needing to leave after you've kind of got to that point?
Yeah, I mean, some manufacturers will obscure the promo code box. They'll pre-populate the promo code box with the code. You know, some of them will, if someone starts to navigate towards the browser with their cursor, they'll pop up a code. So there's ways that the manufacturer or the retailer can actually, you know, discourage someone from going to Google search and doing the query. But even if they do go to do the query, you know, they should definitely have a page on their site that provides promo codes so that it shows up right up there in the search results. And yeah, you're right. You know, people are encouraging that behavior by having that box there. I mean, I look every time. I'm not faulting anyone for doing it. It's just from you know, how incremental is that traffic is what we're looking at. And you know, it definitely is not as incremental as the sources, affiliate sources that we see that are driving that top of the funnel activity, like, you know, comparison sites, like, you know, comparison shopping engines. You know, when we look at, you know, like companies like, you know, like Box Tops for Education, UPromise, Sky Miles, these companies where they're actually influencing the user behavior. The user saying, I'm going to go to whoever has a Box Tops offer because I support my school. And then, you know, those are the sites where we see more top of funnel activity, more creative revenue.
So, I mean, another thing I wanted to ask about is that 8% first click. I mean, that still seems like a pretty large number. I mean, when you look at the mix, where does it stack up?
I mean, if you look at something like PPC non-brand, you'll see like upwards of over 30% first touch position. You'll see display and social potentially, you know, 50% or higher first touch. I mean, so if you look at channels that get the most cannibalized on a last click, it tends to be social and display, and then PPC non-brand. And as you get towards branded search terms and coupon sites, you tend to see a higher percentage last click. So,
I think the other trend that we have to be aware of is that not just online but offline and just consumer behavior in general, since the last economic downturn, which wasn't that long ago, consumers have gotten more and more addicted to saving money. They won't buy without a coupon code. Shopping cart abandonment rates without coupons or discounts are much higher. The statistics are mind-boggling, so I'd rather not even share them because they're so high when you look at the studies of the amount of merchandise left inside of shopping carts. So there's a lot of consumers that if you don't give them that code or that coupon or that offer, they're not going to convert. So I think it's often dangerous to just assume that it's, oh, they would have bought that anyway. And the reality is a lot of times that they'll convert, but it'll be on a competitor site, right? If they've got an item in their shopping cart, there's a reasonable likelihood they have that same item in their shopping cart from a different merchant. And I think merchants fail to look at that because it's really hard to look at. How could you possibly see that data? You can't, because there's two different merchant carts going on at the same time. But user behavior and the studies happen. I've been on Bloomberg TV a few times, and the host likes having me on because that's how he shops. He says basically if he's got something in his shopping cart and he doesn't get a code, he just leaves it there. And he thinks it's a game, right? If you really want me to buy something, give me a code. So I think that's a difficult one. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that, but it's an important thing to keep in mind.
Well, a question, I have an example site up here. I found Advanced Auto Parts. I thought it would be a good one. The box that they're talking about is right there, which to me has always said, you don't have a code, hey dummy, you should go out, Google Advanced Auto Parts coupons, and come back with a code. The other thing that's referenced is, and I have a question for Heath about this, is there's actually a coupon code at the top of the site. So you don't even have to go look for it, you get it right here. Is that training shoppers to always have a coupon code?
Yeah, absolutely, I think so. For us, we figured out pretty quickly in our industry that people really needed some sort of deal to convert. Surprisingly, we still see, even though we have an offer on our site 365 days a year, 24/7, we still see some orders come in with no code attached to them when it's clearly plastered all over the site right there, all through checkout. That said, we get a ton of feedback from consumers telling us that we shopped you over, AutoZone because you had better deals. Lots of feedback comes through in these post transaction surveys, confirming this desire to kind of feel like they. So kind of like Steve says, almost like a game. They want to feel like they went out and found the best deal, or it's the type of consumer in our industry too that they're taking pride in going out and fixing their car, saving a little bit of money, tacking on a code to that sort of sense of winning. I think falls right in line with their thinking too. So it's really important for us for sure, and we hear our customers tell us that.
And so do the coupons work better than having discounted prices?
Ask JCPenney. They learned that the hard way, right? JCPenney, it's a consumer perception. This is the lowest price. You don't need a coupon. I like getting a coupon. Price gets the same amount. It feels lower to me, right? It's a psychological thing. I think there's also, when you talk about incremental through coupons, part of it could be, looking at average order value. You may not be getting, you may be having to pay a discount, but if you build the right kind of discount, it can drive a higher order value. Like, instead of getting 15% off, it might be $15 off orders over 100. And your average order value is typically under 100. So you're pushing over that, and then every dollar over 100, you're not giving 15%, you're still only giving $15. So there's certain kind of behavior that you can do that, you guys have save 20 plus get 50?
Yeah, so that promotional strategy is actually something that we use all the time, and it absolutely works. We do some really, really aggressive offers to the tune of 40%. If you hit that tier exactly, great, you get 40%. We see that very rarely does anyone just hit that tier exactly. They end up, going well over it actually. I mean, if we do a $100 threshold, our AOVs are usually in the $125 range. So that's a great point, and precisely why we've kind of chosen to do some of those promotional tactics.
Yeah, if I get a coupon, I look to buy a little more. I'm like, well,
Right.
this time might not come around again. Why not just throw a few more things in the cart?
Yeah, when we look at heavy coupon users, we see that on average they do have a lower average order value and a lower conversion rate. So using strategies like that by encouraging them to hit a certain threshold that would be above the average order value is really smart, because naturally they're going to have a lower AOV unless you encourage them to have a higher value there through whatever couponing techniques.
Yeah, Steve, what do you find for your users? What type of coupons work? I know it varies by vertical.
It's, I think it depends. I think the best ones are the ones that I think we've already talked about, you know. I think that sometimes making them a tad complicated but keeping them clear, you know, 15% off 100, and then you also get free shipping when you hit that threshold, or maybe there's a second threshold for free shipping. Consumers love stacking coupons. They love the game part of it. And to the extent that the merchant can think ahead, plan that into their analysis and into their ROI analysis, they can almost game right back to the consumer, right? The consumer doesn't realize it, and you can really push up the average order volume dramatically.
I was going to say, I think one of the other things that is important to mention is for some retailers like ourselves who have physical stores, the pricing is such that we have to maintain that physical pricing online. So we can use coupons online to be competitive with some of the pure plays out there that don't have to deal with the overhead of having the physical store. So, you know, we definitely look at couponing as a very big strategy in the online game. Not being able to do that, you know, if you look at our prices versus competitors, and more importantly, Amazon, in a comparison shopping engine, you know, we get killed. But because we can do these aggressive coupons online and leverage, for example, our affiliates to drive that traffic and drive that demand, we're able to actually compete with people who would have otherwise had much lower prices.
You can list your coupons on sites like Shopzilla.
It's true. But I think from our experience, there seems to be a little bit of trouble trying to deal with, you know, exclusions or certain tiers, you know, what products are going to combine to get the right price. It hasn't been the best experience for sure.
So the Pareto principle, or 80-20 rule, usually is a little off when you talk about market sizing. What percentage of the market is RetailMeNot of the coupon space, and what percentage, you know, are the biggest ones like Offers.com, Savings.com, Coupon Cabin, and RetailMeNot?
I mean, I typically see, you know, I mean, it's weird. If we were talking 12 years ago, these guys wouldn't even be in the top 10. They'd all be paid search arbitrage affiliates. You know, it just evolved over time. Advertisers took control of the paid search after they figured out what it was, and then their agencies, you know, started taking it over. So, you know, when it came to coupons, I agree that it really exploded when the economy in 2007 kind of went in the toilet, and that's when consumers really finally started pushing to find these coupons. I think some advertisers get nervous when they look at an affiliate program because, you know, from 98 till today, the mental image of an affiliate program is that there's thousands of affiliates that are going to drive sales on a performance basis, but I've rarely run into a single advertiser that has more than 25 affiliates that drive 95% of the volume. And if you take those 25 and you're a retailer, RetailMeNot is in the top 2, and those top 2 might equal 50% of the sales. So it seems, I think there's some anxiety around not having that diversification and not having more bloggers and content and other types of affiliates. They don't want to be so reliant, yet they do a good job. So it's interesting. Different advertisers look at it different ways, but it seems in general to be kind of a little bit of a anxiety around being so dependent on coupon sites right now for advertisers.
We definitely were at first. There was a ton of education done internally around the value that the coupon affiliates were bringing in, and how we could actually think of it more strategically than just, okay, they're going in and getting to the cart organically and then going off and getting a code, and now we're having to pay a commission on it. So I could see, I could have argued either side of that coin at the beginning. Obviously, being the affiliate manager, I chose to argue for the affiliates. But just as easily could argue that anxiety of, why so many coupon affiliates? But we definitely had that same anxiety at one point.
The other thing I think that's interesting is we're seeing, we're shifting a lot of our energy towards product deals, which we're taking a product, adding a coupon to it, and then making that more of an explore experience. Our site design shifted away from just being search focused and much more about filtering and categories and finding, kind of things that there's a deal for today that there wasn't a deal for yesterday. And one of the things as we grow as an industry, we'll have to, we struggle with is how do you break out the revenue from coupons versus deals? Because a lot of merchants, a lot of advertisers have them in separate buckets. They categorize them differently. So when they look at the market, the segmentation can be complicated. I don't know if you guys are seeing more of that as well, as there's more of a shift towards getting consumers when they're kind of in the explore mode versus just in the further along in the checkout process.
I mean, that's definitely one thing that I'm looking for from the future of coupons in the affiliate space, being able to drive demand and awareness without being just that go-to, get a code and convert within 5 seconds of that actual transaction. I'm certainly excited for you guys to kind of explore that space a little bit more. I know we've had difficulty kind of pairing those things ourselves. For example, something like Slick Deals, when a consumer posts in there and they've found a product that they bought and they combined it with a code, and now you've got this deal. It seems like that's a much bigger win and more instantly turns into something that seems like a win for us as well. Okay, here's a product that may or may not have actually sold. They found this one coupon that was good on anything, applied it to this, and now people think that they're getting this great little bundle. We've tried to sort of replicate that ourselves, on our site, and it just doesn't work as well as it does coming from one of these other sort of established kind of deal hunting, bargain seeking sites.
So let's say I want to start a coupon site. Is there room, and if so, what would you recommend?
I mean, I think so. I mean, I think you're going up against a giant, but like I said, the digital promotion of in-store offers, I think, is a great space to go after. And Steve's comment about the product deals is another one. Neither of which I think is completely, off limits at this point. I think RetailMeNot's got a good stranglehold on the SERPs, so going after just the digital coupons might be challenging, but there's room, I think.
I mean, ultimately, it's about consumers saving money and finding the best possible price, and whether it's a coupon code, whether it's something on sale, I mean, they're ultimately going to want to find the best deal. And so from that standpoint, I think there's definitely opportunity for sites to come out where they're looking at not just the promotional codes, but also, what's on sale right now. And, if I'm in a brick and mortar store, if I scan a product that has a barcode on it, can I find some, UPC of a product online that has a better price point? Not just using Amazon for doing that, but also looking at, every CSE feed has a UPC in it, or almost every single one does. So if you can grab the UPCs for every product out there and you have the pricing and you can beat the pricing of a brick and mortar store, there's opportunity there. So I really think there is definitely room for more sites that are providing consumers with savings.
Steve?
Yeah, we think so. We're making a big investment in differentiating, working on the user experience, focusing on really trying to help consumers save, focusing on finding the product deals so the consumers are more impulsive, and the merchants that we were the closest with really see the difference and really appreciate that that consumers are getting alerts from us on deals, on products, and are kind of converting on things they might not have otherwise bought. So I think there's definitely opportunity from a kind of differentiation standpoint.
I would definitely urge you not to copy RetailMeNot. I see a lot of new coupon sites springing up, and they basically are just copying other coupon sites, and may have some, incremental or a little bit of a work for a little bit, but the main thing is trying to provide, you got to think about yourself. What do you want? What's the value that you want to get out of, a tablet app that lets me search for deals and be able to buy through that, or a website. That's where you're going to get people coming back to you. Copying is really short-sighted, probably more spam than anything.
And what changes are you seeing from different device types, with tablets and mobile taking off as much as it is?
It's huge. I mean, I sit at home on an iPad. That's all I use. It's tucked into the cushion of the couch when I'm watching TV. And I think in Q4, or I think it just looked at December, 10% of the sales or the transactions and 10% of the traffic that went through our technology was either an iPhone or an iPad. So 10% combined, and it's growing all the time.
Yeah, we're seeing huge increase on both devices. However, the conversion rates on iPads are really strong. The conversion rate on iPhone or Android phones is really, really bad. And in our shoes as an affiliate, it's hard to know if that conversion rate, if that conversion rate is the user not converting, or if something's kind of getting lost along the way. But either way, we're not seeing the improvement in iPhone conversion that we would have expected, given the improvement we've seen in tablet conversion. But that's something we all need to watch out for, because it doesn't really help our industry if the conversion happens on the phone and we're not getting the credit that we want, need, or deserve for that. So something to watch out for more.
Yeah,
Well, is that
the m-commerce experience has to be part of your web strategy if you're an advertiser. You've got to be able to make it easy to convert on an iPhone.
The other part that we think is going to grow even more, and Heath, it'd be great to hear your feedback on this as we think about mobile, is the pick up in store or ship to store concept. I talk to a lot of users who will do all their shopping at home, and then when they're out and about, they'll just go pick it up, right? You walk up right to the register at some stores, and your order is ready, waiting there for you. And we are pushing that and working with a lot of retailers to push that as well. I don't know if you're seeing a big increase in that kind of behavior or not.
Absolutely. So a couple things here. When we first started, that was one of the nice features that we were able to leverage with our businesses, having that buy online, pick up in store. I think we were seeing probably in the ballpark of 60% of our orders take advantage of that. Recently, I'd say that's pushing 90% now, 80 to 90%. It's unreal how many people are taking advantage of that. As a consumer, I'm actually a little spoiled now. I'm almost annoyed when I can't buy online, pick up in store. I've made purchase decisions solely based on that ability. So I hope more retailers will come around and use it, and I hope more affiliates can learn to take advantage of it and understand the benefit to the consumer with that feature.
I'd encourage any merchants in the audience, if you do have physical stores, to try it. Pretend you're a user. Try to buy something from your phone, especially when it comes to something like pick up in store, and you'll hopefully then be able to improve that experience for your users.
The thing I've seen, when the pure play started, all the brick and mortar guys felt like they were kind of, going to get beat up by these pure plays, but they didn't have the overhead and they could have lower prices. But I'm seeing those tables turning, mainly in the last year, where finally the point of sale systems in most brick and mortar stores are synced up with the online commerce, and they are able to start to leverage things that a pure play can, like in-store pickup. Even I was in a Best Buy buying a TV, and they were willing to price match Amazon because they were an authorized reseller of the Samsung TV I was buying. And I can remember years ago being in a Best Buy, and they wouldn't match their own prices on the web. So, it's interesting because these companies are shifting, and I think that the companies that have physical presence are actually figuring out how to be stronger than the pure plays, because they're giving something the customer can't get to them. You can't go to an Amazon. You can go to the kiosk, I guess. I think that's kind of their way to, combat it.
Best Buy was on life support, and everybody was showrooming. They'd go in, they'd play with the laptop or whatever else it was, and then go home and buy it online. They'd buy it at Amazon. So they started with, I think it was 6 stores where they'd price match, and they're up to about 30 now. And if you notice, the stock was plummeting and all of a sudden turned around. So that was, great innovation by a stodgy brick and mortar. But back to m-commerce, because I know David's chomping at the bit. First, a question to everybody, and then I'll ask David, is the issue with conversion on smartphones that people don't want to sit there and type all the information in through all of those screens, or is it that there still is a lack of tracking with the affiliate networks and merchant sites?
I think it's both.
I mean, when we look on the mobile side, what we see is that the majority of conversions that start on a mobile device actually do not finish on the mobile device, but they finish on the desktop or laptop. So, people will do their top of funnel exploration on a mobile device, but they ultimately will convert on the desktop or laptop, and it's lack of tracking at the user level that is preventing the credit from happening. And so what we're seeing is that cookies are getting deleted, which actually gives everyone less credit, whether it be an affiliate or whatnot. But especially third-party cookies are getting blown out, and we're seeing that the email address is quickly becoming the new cookie. So no one wants PII. So what's becoming the PII is a hash of the email address. And if you look at ad servers like Atlas is going to start utilizing the Facebook user login information. So they're going to allow you to track users based upon their login behavior on different devices on Facebook. You look at Google, they're going to use the Google Plus, the Android, and the Gmail login information to have a more persistent tracking methodology. So it won't be long before affiliate networks start to leverage cross-device tracking by pulling in third-party data or second-party data that has user login information that's tied to an email address.
So you guys really can track between different devices for the same person?
Yeah, we really track that. We have over 100 million devices mapped to users that are in our own second-party database that's shared cross-client, about 160 brands. And then we also have third-party data that we have access to, LiveRamp. There's a lot of companies that are doing this. And to that extent, in-store is now being tied as well to online. So I can show you what affiliates are driving in-store transactions by taking the email address tied to a receipt, or taking the physical address tied to the credit card, name and address tied to the credit card, and using a company like LiveRamp that can match about 1/3 of physical addresses and names back to an online cookie. And so for companies like Kraft Foods, we're able to take their in-store purchases and use the NCS database, which is the loyalty card database, and actually show them what affiliates are more effective in driving in-store sales, as opposed to which ones are maybe driving lower site engagement but are not actually driving in-store purchases.
It's tough because I know this stuff is going on, and sitting in my chair, I'm like, how do I get some of that? I wish I had the budget to get it. We use coupons basically to try to get some of that cross-device tracking and especially into the stores. Again, using some unique, appended values to track back to what site drove that transaction in the store. But the barcoded coupon is really the only way we've been able to kind of connect those dots, so to speak.
Well, so as far as getting budget, couldn't you make a case for it based on either the savings that you'll have, that you'll be able to better track individual publishers? One of you referenced about for coupon sites having different commission amounts based on how they're converting. So use that to say, if we bring this in, it helps us across the board to actually know the data of each traffic source.
Yeah, in theory, good. In practice, that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, tracking at the user level, we think is critical, and as devices are becoming more fragmented, it's like if you're just looking at the cookie level, you're just looking at the individual device and saying, okay, how did this device convert? And you have to unify it and basically look at that user, all their devices, and the path to conversion across all their devices. And I think that's something where Google Analytics now has a user ID. We've had user ID for years. It's going to become the new sync mechanism.
What advice would you give to merchants about working with coupon sites?
Well, I think a big piece that is hard for advertisers to understand is a lot of times they're using the tools that a network provides them, and so they only see the sales that the affiliates are credited with, and so they don't always have as clear of a picture of what's going on. Obviously, someone like Convertro, and we can see a lot of different kind of angles of the consumer journey. A good thing to understand is how many times were they not credited, they were involved. I mean, I can see RetailMeNot in cases where twice as many sales that they were involved in than they got credited with. So it was because they weren't last click. So I think that's something too. Getting to kind of helping, because a lot of times the affiliate managers are fine with affiliates. It's somebody else in the organization that doesn't like them, or the whole company. And so what you have to do is understand, what are they doing and where are they helping other sales? So they may be supporting paid search, they may be supporting your own remarketing or email, but also, what have you done to kind of make them even more appealing? Like, the coupon strategy we talked about, so that you can have, as your affiliate manager, you have a really clear record of like at each publisher, here's what we've done, here's what we tested, here's where we've got them, we've moved their average order value up, we've changed the coupon from a flat % off to a flat dollar over a certain dollar amount, all these things that help make them look more favorable, and then you can say, yeah, they drove $1 million worth of sales last month, but they were involved in $2 million worth of sales and we didn't pay them on. So they are still contributing and influencing the consumer. So I think reporting is something else that people just aren't seeing the whole picture, and that's sometimes very frustrating if you're trying to champion a certain segment of your business.
And who can provide that data?
Lots of people can. It's just, I think that the challenge is, it's also partly how you've integrated the tracking. So some tracking is only going to see what it was credited with, but it's having these types of insights. If you're working with someone like Convertro or Impact Radius, you may be using them for more than just tracking and paying an affiliate like a network does, and therefore you're looking at the whole, not a slice. And that helps you to understand more the value that these partners are providing or not providing, and test, and to be able to test, because you can see everything instead of just your side.
So Steve, as a coupon site publisher, what are the challenges you find in working with merchants or advertisers?
I think some of it is getting them to really look at the numbers and understand that it's not just about the last click and the concept I talked about earlier about how we can help close the sale and get the sale done. I think the other is to get them to be a bit more creative at times. Partner with some of the best, most creative affiliates, beyond SEO. The SEO affiliates are there; they're doing great for you. But there's lots of opportunities to work with affiliates that can drive things like product deals, email, social, or paid search. And there's a lot of opportunities to work with leading affiliates in those different segments to make a difference and help you diversify your split among your affiliates.
All right, well, let's open it up to questions. There is a microphone there, so if you want to ask a question, please step right on up. Oh, come on. Okay, how's this? $25 Amazon gift card to anybody who could make two of these guys fight.
Want to split it?
Yeah.
I'm not going to make you fight. I know several of you talked about coupon sites engaging the customers earlier in the cycle, and that's understandable. And the main value to a coupon code site, most of them at least, is to deliver the coupon code. What other components would you, I guess, suggest to add to kind of that normal coupon code site to get the visitors engaged earlier in the sale? You know, what other components besides what's there already in a general coupon code site? So that's the question.
You know, I think a huge opportunity right now is apps, and in particular in the Google Play Store, you can pretty much put anything out there pretty quickly, and there's very little, you know, quality review, et cetera. And the app user is very different than the mobile site user. Some people say, well, I already have an optimized site for mobile. But the reality is, if you create an app and put it in there and have the relevant keywords and get some favorable reviews initially on it, you're going to get a significant number of new users that are looking for deals or coupons prior to going to the site. It'll be more top of funnel. They're going to be so that's one tactic I would recommend, is developing apps for you know, for coupon sites, even around particular verticals.
Yeah, I think going the vertical route too is interesting. You know, you think of like New Mothers creating just a site that's all about, you know, products that a mother's going to do. There's a lot of consumables, you know, that babies, you know, use. So, you know,
What about things like reviews? I mean, you know, coupon sites aren't review sites. I understand that for the most part, but adding those different components to get that other traffic other than the coupon traffic.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we love comparison sites, you know, review sites. You know, those sites are, you know, are driving a lot of accretive traffic, top of funnel. You know, getting a lot of credit in most attribution models that are looking at, you know, how much influence each touch point has. So we definitely think, you know, review sites are high quality traffic. Yeah, I mean, in probably the biggest arbitrage opportunity right now that we're seeing in the coupon site space is software plugins, toolbars, and browser plugins. We see sites like Shop at Home absolutely killing it. When Shop at Home customers come on to Convertro and they have Shop at Home, we see that they're stuffing cookies left and right on those transactions, and they're getting tons of credit that they shouldn't be getting. And majority of marketers on the merchant side aren't policing it. So I would, if I was in the coupon space, I would be building plugins, and I would be pushing. It's a value add to the end user because you're showing them a valuable coupon when they go to the site. You pop the coupon down, here it is. But at the same time, you're going to get the cookie jammed in there, which is, you know, you're going to get credit. It's also going to look more top of funnel as well if you're not, detecting it as a cookie stuff. It'll show up. You know.
Again, I think this is part of not having the whole picture. You know, if you're using a typical network, it's going to say this is the publisher that got credit. What you don't know is who was the publisher that almost got credit, and what's the delta in seconds between those two cookies being set or clicks occurring. And that's an easy thing to watch for, to find out if there is maybe some auto stuffing going on versus the consumer actually getting on the site, navigating, getting a toolbar saying, there is a coupon here if you want to use it, and then they engage that coupon, which is really how a toolbar should be used. I think most affiliate networks feel that way, but it's being able to detect that delta between the second to the last and the one that got credit, to look for that kind of anomaly. And if I see it, because I run those reports frequently just to look, if I see it, I'm getting on the phone with somebody because something's wrong. And if people know they're being watched, they don't tend to break the rules. It's when nobody's looking, the rules get broken, and what? You're not talking to what? You know?
I mean, that type of reporting and information is exactly what we're trying to get to pretty quickly here, to make those exact decisions and do that policing, being aware of it and actually being able to do something about it.
I think it's really interesting to see. You look at, like, take two really good affiliates of RetailMeNot and an eBates. You know, eBates is loyalty. you see a lot of consumers trying to do both because they want to get their rebate with a coupon. And so you can see, here's all the sales that Ebates beat RetailMeNot, and here's all the sales RetailMeNot beat out for eBay. So in some cases it worked for the consumer, in some cases it doesn't. I think sometimes consumers get confused, but they don't understand how tracking works. But even just seeing where is this kind of, what's washing out, that's all kind of got to come into how you value these publishers. What's their true value, right? And it's interesting to see how the consumer sees these publishers. They're related to the consumer, right? Not every consumer knows about Ebates, but some do. That's another kind of interesting perspective. And these are the kind of, again, the views of that. It's kind of like I look at data as like a cube, and you can turn it and look at it from different angles, and that's how you discover things that are interesting. If it's just flat, you're never going to discover any data. It's just a fact that you look at. You can't do anything about it. Right?
I like that analogy. One clarification though, David. You mentioned a specific company with the download that you said is stuffing. You're not saying the entire industry is rife of that?
No, I mean, I'm surprised at how few coupon sites are cookie stuffing. I mean, to me it seems like, and I'm surprised RetailMeNot doesn't have a toolbar or a plugin. But yeah, I mean, I think, that if you look at it, you have drop-in savings, you have Shop at Home, Rebate Informer, you have a couple large cookie stuffers that are leveraging that technique with deals, but it's not as pervasive as you think it is, and most companies don't have the software in place to detect that behavior, so it's greenfield opportunity for affiliates to get in there and get traffic, get credit for conversions, and it's predominantly just as long as you're not cannibalizing Google. I think Google PPC has issues with it. And I think, Shop at Home has agreed not to cannibalize Google PPC, but other than that and other affiliates, they're cannibalizing Facebook, they're cannibalizing organic search traffic and a lot of other channels.
All right, well, CJ launched its 9 rules the summer of 2012, and the non-cookie stuffing was one of them. Now I see the wheels turning in Steve's head as he's thinking, do I launch one? So Steve, which way, are you going to cookie stuffing or?
No. We try to help consumers. That's really our focus. So if the consumer doesn't know that what's going on, that's not helping them. We think ultimately that strategy will win.
Well, one thing I want to say about cookie stuffing toolbars is there are a lot of companies that have toolbars that are not affiliates. You as an affiliate can go buy media in those toolbars and get your cookie stuffed. And that's where I see the abuse. And someone like Shop at Home, who owns a toolbar, and their members install it, usually is different. And you can control it, because I can call them up and go, I see some behavior that's wrong. Here's the evidence. You should fix it. Versus if somebody else is going out and buying that company doesn't care who I am or anything. They just let people buy media, and they set cookies all day long with whatever media gets bought. And I've caught a major CPA network allowing an affiliate to do that. And the executive that I spoke there couldn't even comprehend that was a bad idea. So, you gotta watch who you partner with.
Okay, see, there's a line. So next question.
You did a great job of giving us a sense of what's starting to work on mobile. Can you talk a little bit about what's working, or what some of the opportunities are on social?
Social's tough. I don't know whether it becomes an attribution thing or what, but social drives a lot of traffic. The conversion is just doesn't compare to our in-house email list, to just browsers coming to the site, to even to PR. PR is way more effective in terms of driving conversions than social. So if somebody's got something out there, come let me know. So we've had a tough time with social.
What are your hypotheses looking out 12, 18 months? What do you think will start to emerge?
I don't know. I mean, I got that same question 18 months ago, and I think the answer hasn't changed, so I'm not quite sure. We continue to focus and invest on it, and are doing more and more to be authentic in that approach. And saw some over December, some signs of hope in terms of socials influencing the purchase decision.
So we have Moore's law about doubling, and Schaffer's law of affiliate marketing and social is that nothing will change every 18 months?
I'm not going to call it a law, but well, I don't know, check back in 12 months. We'll see where we're at.
None of you guys, David, do you see anything working across channels?
See, in terms of social? I mean, social, it looks great on a first click basis. I mean, social is a top of funnel source. It just is a source that can't get someone over the finish line. So if you look, we have sources we call, one and done, where basically they can get a conversion and not have anything else get in the way, and social gets a user to a site, but it doesn't get them over the finish line. So they tend to be more of an introducing source or an influencing source, but not a last click source. So if you're getting paid on a last click basis, social is probably not effective. We see a lot of customers that are using social for, like for downloads. So app installs, they're doing Facebook on an app install CPA basis, and they're doing that effectively. So, there are opportunities, I think, in social from an app perspective, more so right now on the mobile side, but it's a tough channel on a last click basis to make work for affiliates.
Thanks.
All right, next question.
Yeah, hi. My question was about demand, like kind of where you guys see demand. So there's demand capture, like through search, SEO, paid search, and there's demand creation where people might be doing like display or some other media source like that. Do you have a rough idea of what the share is of demand, like demand capture versus demand creation for affiliates?
I'd go back to say some of that's really hard to say, because if if somebody's, let's say they're buying an appliance from a company that doesn't have an affiliate program, and they go to do a price comparison through a comparison shopping site or through an affiliate site by saying, can I get a coupon and can I get this washing machine cheaper? We'll use Sears as an example because they're highly coupon oriented. It looks like a search for a Sears coupon, but really what it is demand creation, because the person has already made the purchase decision at XYZ Appliances store. So I think it's very difficult to try to do some of that analysis, especially when you get into the higher ticket items.
Right.
And
for affiliates, though, do you see is display ever a source, or is it typically mostly search in terms of where traffic is coming from?
For us, we're starting to test more display, and I think years and years ago we tested it, it wasn't so effective. It's starting to be more effective. I think consumers are getting more and more savvy, and if you think about the size of the e-commerce market has just grown so dramatically that internet advertising in some ways is more effective than it was previously. So I think display is a real opportunity now.
I think more on the retargeting.
Yeah.
It's weird, in Europe, there are affiliates that do retargeting. There are companies, their whole model is being an affiliate as a retargeter. And that really has never happened at the same scale in the U.S., which is kind of weird because historically things start in the U.S. and go into Europe. And, I think that's a big opportunity for a lot of people is retargeting.
Yeah,
All
it
right.
tends to be last click, so it's a great opportunity.
We're getting yanked off. I see the time back there. So thank you very much to our panel. Let's round of applause for them.